According to the culture and the tradition of the Yoruba Kingdom, a king is not supposed to see a newborn baby immediately after birth until after 90 days. And as we all know that each kingdom with its rules, regulations and taboos that must not be broken. And that is why we are live at the palace of the Alayandelu of Odo-Ayandelu Kingdom, Agbowa Ikosi Ejire. Epe, as Oba Asumo Aderibigbe Ganiu officially welcomed and receives his grandchild for the first time ever since her birth into the royal family of the Alayandelu. And as you all know that a Courtyard is right here to take you through these events as it unfolds. I am Joy Udo. Just stay with us.
The newborn grandchild that is coming officially to come and visit me today, I pray to her, God will bless her. God will increase her wisdom. God will lift her up, will not cry over her. We have known her beginning, we will not know the end of her. No matter how glorious we are, no matter how popular we are, no matter how wealthy we are, God will make our own multiple than our own. And to the parents, God will provide for them. They will have money to train the child so that the child too will become an important person in Nigeria. And to all my family, my chiefs that are here, I say thank you for coming. To the press crew, pressmen, Echo Blog, I say thank you. Nǹkan rere báyìí kò ní wọ́n lọ́ọ̀dẹ ẹnìkankan alágbára Ọlọ́run. Ìlú yìí á dẹ̀ túbọ̀ máa dàgbà, á máa dògbó, ikú á máa kíkẹ́ ku, ẹyẹ á máa kíkẹ́ ẹyẹ. Ọmọ èèyàn máa fọ́ ọmọ ènìyàn. Àwọn àgàn tí ò tí ì bí, wọ́n máa tọwọ́ àlàbòsùn, wọ́n máa rí òun fi pamọ́ lára. Àwọn abolóyún ìfẹ́, wọ́n yẹn máa bí wẹ́rẹ́ lágbára Elédùmarè. Ogun korobá gbáwájú wọlé, gbẹ̀ǹkùlé jáde, Ọlọ́run ní jẹ́ kó ṣẹlẹ̀ nílùú yìí. Ìjọba federal ti rántí wa, state ti rántí wa, local government ti rántí wa, Ọlọ́run àtúbọ̀ bá fìfẹ́ wa sí wọn lọ́kàn. Lágbára Elédùmarè tọ́wọ́n bá tí ìgbére wá sódò Ayandelu ọkàn wọn ní balẹ̀. Nígbà tán bá mú tiwa fún wa báyìí lọ́kàn wọn máa balẹ̀. Bó ṣe máa jẹ́ nìyẹn. And there's another thing that I omitted when I was telling you. If it's my own child, as a male one, by the time they present the child and I bless her or bless him, I'll go in. Whatever attire I'm putting on today, I'm going to remove it and give to the child while I wear another cloth. Whatever the child made to me, either money, everything will be given to such a child. So it's just part of tradition.
According to the culture and tradition of the Yoruba Kingdom, every king is not supposed to see a baby immediately after birth until 90 days and above. As we all know, each kingdom has its rules, regulations and taboos that should not be broken, and if these rules are broken, there may be consequences. Odo-Ayandelu was agog on Sunday, 12th of June, as the newborn baby and his mother, Princess Mariam Asumo Adekunle, arrived at the palace in company of her husband, family and friends to present the Alayandelu's grand princess to him for the first time since her birth. The day was filled with lots of traditional activities that started with prayers, dance and reception. The Alayandelu and Paramount ruler of Odo-Ayandelu Kingdom, Jamade I, His Royal Majesty Oba Ganiu Aderibigbe, could not hide his joy over the birth of his new grand princess, even as chiefs and other people of Odo-Ayandelu were also delighted. According to the culture, Oba Aderibigbe is expected to perform some rites before and after setting his eyes on both the princess and the baby, which he was accompanied by other royal fathers present at the event, the Oni-Lekki of Lekki, His Royal Majesty Oba Abdul-Hazeem Olumuyiwa Ogunbekun, his chiefs and priests to the sacred shrine at the palace courtyard, in accordance with the full culture and tradition of the Yoruba Kingdom, as always observed whenever a reigning king receives his newborn baby or grandchild into the palace after the necessary rites of 21 days. While at the sacred shrine before the arrival of the princess and the grand princess, Oba Aderibigbe prayed for the newborn baby, the mother, those present at the event, the entire community, and for the peace and growth of our dear nation. He further danced 3 times to the sound of the ancient Gedu drum just at the palace entrance before settling on his throne, waiting for the arrival of his grandchild and the mother. Princess Mariam Asumo Adekunle and her baby were ushered into the palace by the Oni-Lekki of Odo-Ayandelu and received by the community elders led by the Alashe, Aro, the Yalode, including the Yaloja of Odo-Ayandelu. The monarch's immediate family members also welcomed them. Friends and associates also joined in welcoming the baby into the palace. The princess and the baby's faces were covered as they danced 3 times to the sound of the ancient Gedu drum and was made to step on a cold ground according to the tradition before allowing her dancing to the palace with a lamp which was used for prayers and cleansing after the king had received the mother and child. Spiritual obeisance by the priests and other traditional rites were offered to formally welcome the royal baby to the Alayandelu royal court and announce her names to the general public. Custodians of various deities and the Oni-Lekki of Lekki, His Royal Majesty Oba Abdul-Hazeem Olumuyiwa Ogunbekun offered prayers in the traditional way with items like kola nuts, water, and other Yoruba core prayer items. After the prayers and sacrifices, the Alayandelu consulted the Ifa oracle through the priest, danced with the princess to the sound of the ancient Gedu drum 3 times before declaring the baby's name publicly. In an interview with the Alayandelu and Paramount ruler of Odo-Ayandelu Kingdom, Jamade I, His Royal Majesty Oba Ganiu Aderibigbe, just before the event started, expressed joy over the birth of his grand princess, also talked about the significance of the event in the Yoruba culture and tradition of the kings and the royal families. Oba Aderibigbe, being a custodian of the Yoruba culture and tradition, stressed that it wasn't good for the community for faith-based Yoruba Obas to be enthroned. He asserted that the Yoruba culture in its entirety must be showcased, developed, and preserved through the rich cultural and traditional festivals, activities, norms, and rites as it when due.
What is happening today is one of the traditional rites that is being performed to either a prince or a princess that was just newly born to the palace. Especially when it's from direct, we have to do the sacrifice because the tradition did not allow Oba to see a baby until when that baby attained age of 3 months or above. So before such a child can be presented to the king, then there are some traditional rites that they have to do. And amongst what they are going to do now, the family who are my in-law, my other family, will join that my daughter that is bringing the newborn baby to the palace officially today. They will dance from outside to the compound of the palace here with a lamp, that's a aguton, in their hand. They are going to cover the mother's and the baby's face. Then when they get to the palace here, they will sound the Gedu drum. They will dance 3 times. After dancing the 3 times, the mother and the baby and the entire family will now enter the palace. They will present the baby to me. I'll bless the baby. I'll bless the mother and bless everybody that is present here today. So from there, we'll now kill that lamb. You will see as we are going to do it. So part of the blood, we are going to use it some kind of cleansing. So all this thing is just tradition. So that's why we are here. If you go to Benin, the Oba of Benin, once the Oba has attained that throne, the child is not allowed to see the father until they do them apart. So he has to go to another town entirely where he will never see his father. So that is tradition. So every community has their own tradition. That's why if we want to go to hospital, we normally tell the doctors there, If there's any newborn baby there that is not up to 3 months, please, they should just move them a little bit because it's not good. Because I don't know how they call that in English. Awuje. That's ufulu at the middle, where the baby head will be jumping like this. So when that thing is not sealed, after 3 months, so after 3 months that thing will stop. So before that 3 months, it's not good. If Oba is seeing such a child, it's like taking the pride of the child, the wealth, the good thing about the child. Because Oba is full of a lot of things. You understand? So that's why it's not good. And that's why you see Oba, in most cases, they cover their head with cap. You don't expose your head. Because the fly that touch your head, it's not good to touch ordinary people's head. So it's forbidden. It's not good. That's why you see us, we cover our head every time. So it's part of tradition. There is no limitation. As they are giving birth, all of them will be bringing their child like that. If it is my own child gone now, let's say maybe from one of my wife, they give birth, and that child happens to be a boy. That one, when they present the child to me, I have to remove the crown and put on his head. So that in case next time, if that crown move around again after my demise, when I've gotten old and gone, if they bring it, it will not affect such a child or even his own grandchild in most cases. So we use that crown to size his head. But because my in-law now is from Abeokuta, you understand? They told they are from royal home in Egbado. But here, we cannot give our own crown to them. You understand? So that's why they will just present the child, we bless the child as normal something. So that's how it's done. So there's no limitation. There's no time one cannot acquire more knowledge. But what is worrying most of our people is that some of them don't know and they don't want to know. And the Quran says it's a fool man that doesn't know and he doesn't want to acquire more knowledge. So even if you don't know something, you ask people that you met there, how do they do this thing? And that's why you see at times some of these things affect some of their children because they didn't do the normal tradition. You understand? So it's not good. And some people mix religion with tradition. They are different entirely. You don't mix tradition with religion. We are not saying Oba should not practice his own religion. I'm a Muslim. I've been to Hajj 2 times and I've been to Jerusalem as well. So it doesn't affect each other. But now, because of the Western education or some care, I don't know how I put it, because like me, that's why at times they don't like me. If you know the tradition, you know what they do as an Oba before you apply that you want to become an Oba. And you get there now, you say you don't want to follow the tradition. Are you not stealing indirectly? You are a betrayer. Because you know when they appointed you traditionally. And they have told you the norms and everything that attached to it. But because you have now sit on the throne, you think nobody can challenge you. What about the deities? Look at what happened at Owo. May the soul of those departed soul rest in peace. Look at the women in the community. They came. They brought some iron and some other thing, oil, and they appeased to their God. And within few days, they were caught. They arrested them. That is tradition because they oppose to their tradition. So I will implore all of us that doesn't know all these things, they should please try. Learn with the elders or those that know so that they can put them through.